Good. Welcome. My name is Thomas Volmering. I'm heading the product management team for workflow management, and I'm also doing solution engineering, which means that my team creates content around workflow. And it's my pleasure to welcome Sue today. Sue, you might want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sue Keohan. I've been working with SAP products since 1995 and specializing in SAP business workflow for a long time. I'm a former ASUG volunteer, former SAP Mentor, and current SAP Champion.
Great. So I know you for a very long time, but tell us about your career journey, from the Harvard Extension School to the current work that you do as a workflow developer at MIT. What inspired you along the way?
Well, the courses I took at Harvard were actually very prescient of me because I took some German courses and I took creative writing. And I think that those two courses set me up very well for being a programmer. No, I had always loved foreign languages. And so that was my focus initially. And then I discovered programming a long time ago. And to me, programming was just like learning a foreign language. It was taking whatever I wanted to say and translating it into code that the computer could absorb and perform. So I found myself taking German classes at Harvard, creative writing, and at that time I was a COBOL programmer. And MIT needed a COBOL programmer, so I came on board. And it was about 9 years later that MIT purchased SAP, and I was chosen to be on that team. And it's been just an amazing roller coaster ever since. I really fell in love with workflow. I saw the potential for using packaged pieces of code to achieve something that we were not able to achieve manually. And that was totally new to me, that if you were getting a purchase requisition approved, you actually had to walk the piece of paper over to the building where the approver worked and hope that they were there. So I fell in love with SAP Workflow.
Oh, that's awesome.
It has been awesome for me.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You're also an SAP champion. How did you become an SAP champion? How did that happen? And what does it mean to you to be in this program?
I think, to me, being a champion is sort of an extension of what I've been trying to do with the SAP community since 1997. At that point in time, all we had was email in order to exchange information about what to do with this massive system. And MIT set up a couple of mailing lists for ABAPers, and we set one up for workflowers. So I've always had a passion for sharing information and helping people find good ways to accomplish what they need to do. So that sort of flowed from being an ASUG volunteer, and then I was invited to be an SAP mentor, and I loved every moment of that. But I've always been more about engaging with community and, the rising tide that lifts all boats, trying to help everybody find their answers and contribute to the community. So I hope that my passion for community is why I was chosen to be a champion. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, for sure. So, as an SAP workflow specialist, an SAP champion, and I very vividly remember, the several ASAC sessions that I have attended with you presenting. So you have also been an ASAC, America's SAP Users Group volunteer. I mean, what motivates you to engage with experts and peers and provide feedback based on your own kind of hands-on experience?
Well, so besides just trying to help everybody learn, and being a volunteer for America's SAP User Group was really rewarding, because we got to sort of take the pulse of the community and see what they wanted to hear about, and then find people who would speak on those topics. So that was really rewarding. And then there were also some customer engagement initiatives that we, as down in the weeds workflow practitioners, were able to provide feedback to SAP and say, hey, it would really make my life a lot easier if we could do this, or you would add this feature. Yeah, the passion to engage with the community and helping customers, partners, and SAP get the most out of it really drives me crazy. No, it drives me.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great to hear. So I have a funny question. You once co-presented in a session that I remember that was called "How to Build an SAP Workflow on SAP S/4HANA in 40 minutes." And is that even possible? How can that apply today with organizations and peers responding to rapid change?
Well, yeah, it's very possible. It was not a very complicated application. I believe it was leave request, which anyone who has taken a workflow tutorial will remember. And the gist of it is that this workflow application, even though we were on an S/4HANA box, we built it using the old SAP GUI and the traditional workflow tools. But I think that the concepts translate into the newer world that we're facing, of simplifying the business logic, delivering the right tasks to the right people at the right time, trying for process transparency so that our users know what's going to happen to their leave request. I've seen some of those applications in Fiori, and they're really beautiful. So yes, you can build an SAP business workflow in S/4HANA, and we're in the process of upgrading to S/4HANA now. All the 80 or 90 workflows that I've built over the past 20 years will keep running as they are. So I hope anybody who's also considering an upgrade can breathe a sigh of relief and know that the old things still work. And I'm looking forward to the time where I can jump into the newer world with flexible workflows and some other things that might be coming down the pike.
True. Yeah, I mean, specifically when it comes to, I think the evolution, of workflow being, by nature somehow model-driven, low-code, right? If you develop an application with a workflow, you do not code, you do not program, but it's like, if you will, graphical program for business experts. So that reminds me of, the topic of low code, no code, which is really a hype topic. And during SAP's Sapphire Now, also Christian Klein, our CEO, and Jürgen Müller, our Chief Technology Officer, they emphasized that amongst other topics, low code and no code is really important for SAP, as it is in the industry. It's a change of style of work. And, if you think about how could, low code, no code, this approach actually help in building workflows and configure processes to automate reoccurring manual work, mundane tasks. And I know that, many people that I ask, the only kind of contact that they have with workflow is like somebody needs to approve my leave request, right? But of course, there's a lot of other workflows where you have data collection, where you have reviews, where you need to flexibly actually configure also, do you have 2-step, 3-step, even 10-step approvals in there up to the level of a CFO if you have a financial workflow. So I'm thinking, what do you think from your experience, how can workflow technologies with this kind of low code or maybe coming from a pro code to a low to a no code environment, how can workflow technologies help allocate employees and other resources more intelligently to focus on high priority work?
Well, obviously having sort of application interfaces where the business users are in control of the rules, which we've seen in business rules management. Obviously, that's a big win for the workflow developers, right? Instead of having to maintain custom tables and change code every time a new level of approval is needed, our users can make those changes themselves, and it empowers them to control the business. So I think that to me is a low code solution. I'm not sure, I haven't been able to put my hands on a no code solution. I really would like to see that. Although, for job security, I hope it's not really no code. But for the end users to be able to do they're the ones that know what the business process should really look like. And it really optimizes their time and our time as back-end developers for them to be able to make those changes the way that they want when they need them. And I'm not quite there with my applications, but once we get through the stress of an upgrade, I'm hoping that that's something I get to jump into.
I think also that, if you take a look at the low code, no code discussion, that, I don't think that the professional developer will ever go away. It just,
I didn't think so.
No.
I didn't think so.
And I see that rather like, professional developers enabling, what is called business technologists or citizen developers. So the people in the line of business who know the process really well, enabling them with, what is called in the industry skills, which means like functional building blocks, like workflow process steps, UIs, data model extensions, and these kind of things that then flexibly a citizen developer would be able to combine into a process, right? Let's not call it even a workflow, but a process. And when I talk about professional developers, I know also from personal experience, if we are hiring, the demand for professional developer talent has continued to grow faster than the world can educate them. And in your blog, which on being a woman in technology, you mentioned that learning in combination of professional and personal interests is, what putting these things together in one package is your advice. What advice, which other advice would you give to the next generation of students and recent graduates from, if they start seeking a job from a career point of view?
Wow. It's so mind-boggling, the resources that are out there for young people looking to learn and looking to find where their passion is. I think that you take advantage of all of the tutorials and online classes, open source classes that are offered, and you've got to, I think you sample them sort of like a buffet, only without all the germy nastiness. You sample all of these things until you find what it is that makes you feel passionate and makes you feel happy. Because honest to goodness, when I get a program or a workflow to work, I really feel absurdly happy. So I think that in the course of sampling from the buffet and taking tutorials and online classes, in the course of that, you're going to be running into members of those communities, and you can build your network from there. And I hope that everybody feels comfortable coming onto the SAP Community Network to learn and to grow and to build their networks if SAP is their passion. And why wouldn't it be? Sadly, I don't have the one secret sauce ingredient that somebody just out of school can use to get a job at SAP or at some other company. But I think it's through learning and enjoying the learning and building your networks through those that you can achieve that. You can find a job maybe that'll keep you happy for 35 years like MIT has.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, I see this also with my kids. They, even they I wouldn't consider my 12-year-old son even thinking about he's developing, but I mean, they all become like creators, and they have a much more unbiased kind of relationship to computers and to building something. And I love to see that. I mean, how you and others inspire people actually really to take this step into the business world and aspire to become someone that has this kind of passion for the topic that they have, like you have, obviously. And I really admire that.
Well, if you think about it, we're starting kids with learning technology so early. There's Scratch for, I don't know, ages 4 and 5, which can teach kids the building blocks of programming. That's an ultimately no code application, right? They're dragging puzzle pieces around and they're getting familiar with it at such a young age. Then that can ignite the passion that will carry them through past the teenage years into young adulthood.
Good. I mean, some people might wonder, why am I so dressed up? And in fact, I was really not looking forward to dress up and wear a tie, but there is a special kind of occasion here, being here together with you in this call, because I think back at the time when, you had this theme of Blues Brothers and, we're putting the band back together, so to say, right? That's also a hope that we have when we start talking again about workflow, and that workflow is becoming important. So I've brought even my Blues Brothers glasses, not exactly the same glasses.
Are we getting the band back together?
I hope we will get the band back together.
So I've done a lot of talking, Thomas.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give us some teasers about what the workflow community and the SAP community has to look forward to?
Yeah, I have also spent 19 years of the 21 years that I am with SAP have spent on, the workflow and business process management topic. And I always felt like, digitizing, everybody's talking about digital transformation, but digitizing the flow of work and workflows and the related processes is somehow, the essence of SAP. It's in our DNA. And with applications like S/4HANA and SAP ERP, we support today thousands of customers in all industries across the globe, running processes. And that at the same time, ever since I have been with SAP, I have seen that, similar to your experience, that there are specific requirements for processes and related workflows that differ from company to company, and that differ from, different kind of industries or markets and so on. So there is not one capital expenditure approval workflow that everybody uses, because, probably there's not even one leave request workflow that everybody uses. And so now, in thinking about adding different levels of approvals for a purchase requisition, or how do you handle sales order approvals, sales quotations, the list is endless. We have started in the 90s actually to introduce what you also refer to as SAP Workflow, SAP Business Workflow. and it's still heavily used in several application implementations. And we have added with S/4HANA and the flexible workflow in S/4HANA on top of that same kind of workflow engine, a new flexible way how you can configure workflows in S/4HANA. And we didn't stop there, because we also brought in the last couple of years our portfolio for workflow, which is workflow itself, the core engine and the modeling and the execution of a workflow, together with business rules, together with out-of-the-box process visibility for workflows, like workflow monitoring, you can say, for business people, and also a new kind of process flexibility experience for line of business people to configure flexibility workflows in the cloud. So we brought all of this together in the cloud. We learned a lot from our customers, because we at first thought, hey, we do this, one service for workflow, one for rules, and one for visibility, and one for flexibility. And we said, no, that's too confusing. And so we brought this together as SAP Workflow Management in the cloud. And that is also, coming with pre-built content. And the pre-built content is, and probably you all know that who have experienced SAP Business Workflow, right from the get-go, it was very important to us that we do not ship just technology for technology's sake, but we integrate actually our workflow technology within the application tightly to the business objects in there, right? And to the attached events and attributes and everything that you have based on the data model of the application. And then also for the extension workflows that the customers can use actually the same kind of workflow management in the cloud. And now, we are actually working on elevating the central workflow management approach into two directions. One is this, what I just mentioned, the low-code, no-code approach. So make the user experience that kind of simple that you can still manage complex workflow problems, right, and automation problems, but not simplistic. Make it, integrated with a very special focus on how do you build a form or a user interface for the start UI of a workflow, and also the task UIs of a workflow that you have in a workflow, the data modeling and extension, semantic access to business data, and so on. That's one focus on this low-code approach. And the second is that we should not forget, that there are thousands, like I said, of customers like you are also, who use workflow still in the SAP business workflow in the existing systems. And if you now move to the cloud, you do not want to, rebuild all of that. You want to throw it away. You want to keep on running these workflows in an upgrade-safe way. And this is the second focus topic. How do we integrate, with the existing workflows in a way that we call it, it's hybrid workflow landscapes on-premise and in the cloud, and everything that you have been building, like 20, 30, whatever, how many workflows you have also built, that you do not need to throw that away, but you can use it and you can build on top and extend this, from a persona perspective, to more people in the organization to work on the workflow building blocks that you have provided actually with your work. These are the two, I would say, main focus topics that are driving us right now.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. And so how do you see this rolling out to SAP customers? What kind of resources will be available to us when you start giving us these wonderful little tidbits?
One asset that is very important is that we come with out-of-the-box integrations into the existing SAP ERP and S/4HANA implementations of workflow. So nobody wants to invest additionally in an integration project, to integrate your existing workflow with something that you want to build on top in the cloud, or you want to run across LOB workflow, across ERP, S4, customer experience, Fieldglass, Salesforce, non-SAP, right? So you don't want to throw away what you have. So it needs to come out of the box integrated. So we call these kind of support for integrations as highways. It's a little bit of a funny term, but it means like it's bi-directional integration, right? And Technically, it's a proxy-based implementation that we have shipped now down to the level of older ERP releases. And the second is that, workflow management in the new world in the cloud comes with pre-built workflow content. And if I talk about content, like I mentioned before, it's not just simple templates like we had in the past. These were great. In SAP Business Workflow, I remember also, I even know the people who have developed these templates in SAP Business Workflow. So thinking about, well, traditionally in ERP, you had materials management, procurement very strongly, you had HR, and you have templates for, employee self-service, manager self-service, and so on. But these were simple workflow templates where you could activate them and then one workflow. We have the aspiration actually to build workflow content in a way that it comes as pre-configured process variants, so that we already, pre-think how many different variants actually line of business expert can configure with workflow building blocks. Like an approval is a workflow building block. Many other data collection steps in a workflow are pre-built and reusable building blocks. We add business rules to the content package, right? For conditional start of a workflow, but also for responsibility determination. That's a big topic in workflow. How do you figure out who is the responsible actor in a workflow, who needs to approve something? Yeah. So we apply business rules to that. Out of the box visibility dashboard, so that it's just plug and play, activated, and you can configure it, of course, to your needs, but then you can activate it and you have an out-of-the-box dashboard. And also the user interfaces and pre-thought, and pre-built data model extensions. And at the same time, we're, directly in this workflow content package, have semantic access to the ERP and to the S4 data model, to the one domain model at SAP when it comes to an order, for instance, right? This is for sure a roadmap, but we have started actually to build these kind of content packages last year. We have currently 40. Our ambition is that by the end of the year, we will have around 100 content packages end-to-end that we offer through our business hub at SAP. So everybody can take a look at it at SAP, at api.sap.com. And then, take a look, is it a valuable content package, implement it, change also the sources and whatnot. So this shall amplify, of course, and I would say pave the way for many customers to take a look at the cloud, to take a look at the business technology platform, and to make actually also SAP Workflow Management an excellent candidate maybe for a central workflow management approach, right? Reusing what you have built in the past with SAP Business Workflow and flexible workflow in S4HANA. And by the way, even there you can decide that you configure the flexible workflow in S4HANA and configure your business workflow that you want to use an extension workflow on top in the cloud. And you have one kind of management on top, which is monitoring, technical monitoring, but also business level monitoring, that you see all your workflow participants in an end-to-end process, whether it's in the cloud or it's in ERP or S4, are part of one visibility dashboard. And you don't need a big development effort for that. You get it out of the box in these content packages. Yeah, that's I think for me, it's a very exciting topic, and I hope that people in the community will like it also. So
what was the website we should go to again?
api.sap.com. This is the SAP API Business Hub.
Okay.
And there you find our workflow content packages. And also, of course, we have a workflow community page as part of the SAP developer community. There we also have a lot of information on the individual content packages in there. But api.sap.com is the website.
Great. Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and thank you for interviewing me so well. Is there anything that you want to share as like a call to action or something that you're hoping the community can do?
Absolutely. So, it is for us, it's extremely important to to keep the connection, to the community, to the SAP champions, to people who have all the experience in which kind of process problems you want to solve with process automation by and large, and specifically with workflow. And when I talk about the content packages that we, for instance, build, it's not only about functional scope of which kind of features are really important. I'm talking about responsibility determination. We could talk probably for hours about the benefit that you had in ERP, in ECC, when you have the organizational model directly in the application, and now you run cross-LOB workflows across many applications. So how do you manage responsibilities? Things like this, just to get inspired on the functional side, but also on the business process side, in the sense of, I think bread and butter content packages like in procurement, in finance, in HR, we get already a lot of feedback from customers what they want us to build, but we really need also input and feedback from the community to say which industries, right? Which kind of workflow problems do you think we should, as SAP, develop and deliver as pre-built content so that it helps you to accelerate the work that you do, right? And also, it's not meant that we want to take away the work from anybody, but it's just that we want to help you, right? In saying, hey, look, this is what we found with partners and with customers, that, for instance, I mentioned it, sales order quotation approvals, or in classically in HR, onboarding of employees, that has changed a lot in the past, but also in retail, in utilities, in oil and gas, in these industries where there are specific workflow problems that you want us to take a look and then give us feedback if you like what we build, because SAP doesn't want to invest in pre-built business content that is just shelfware, right? That doesn't make sense. Then it looks nice on a website that we have 100 content packages, but if nobody uses it, then it's not really the purpose. Yeah, that's the call for action. Take a look at our content, get engaged. We want to really revitalize, the once very vibrant workflow community, and we want to get in touch with you on a regular basis. Bring us all your feedback, negative, positive, of course, and also functional and content-wise feedback. That will help us a lot, and it will be hopefully a lot of fun to get the band back together.
So it sounds like maybe we should do some community calls in the future so that you can show what you're talking about to interested community members, and they can provide you the feedback right then and there.
I think that's a great idea.
Good. So hopefully I'll be with you on this journey. I'm excited to be able to talk workflow with somebody. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. And I'm just looking forward to spending more time working on these applications with you.
Thank you, Sue. Pleasure was mine.
Thank you.